Kubukwendere, tiko mechi sulie guadabu, amne tisribiri corpore pasben. Hello everyone, my name is Danielle, and I am a returned Peace Corps volunteer. I'm originally from Sharon, Massachusetts, and I served in the Comarca Nove Bugle in Panama. My site was in a rural indigenous reservation, and the language that I introduced myself in is called Nobere, which has about 200,000 speakers throughout Panama and Costa Rica. I was a TELS volunteer, which stands for Teaching English, Leadership, and Life Skills, and my projects were mostly around helping English teachers at my school improve their own English language skills and teaching methodologies. And I also worked with the guidance counselor at my school to do sexual health education and other things. When we were evacuated a few months ago, I ended up having about 1 hour to pack up my things and say goodbye to my community, and it was honestly one of the craziest experiences of my life. Transportation was closing all around us every minute, and there was really a ticking clock for us to get out and to get on the bus to Panama City. A political leader of the Comarca, of the reservation, actually ended up helping me out and finding someone who waited for me to pack up all my things and then drove me 2 hours out of the mountains to the main road, and even picked up a few other volunteers on the way. And when we tried to pay, he said, "That's not my custom," and wouldn't let us pay him. So I am forever grateful for his kindness and generosity in my time of intense stress and emotion and need. And actually, the night before I left, I ended up having coffee with this man at 11 p.m., as one does in the campo, and we were talking about the possibility of Peace Corps evacuating. And he expressed how much the Comarca enjoyed having the Peace Corps presence there, and how much they had helped. So I barely knew this man. He did not live in my community, so he obviously was not talking about me specifically, but it was really special to hear his thoughts about the Peace Corps in general and the effect and the impact that we had had in that region. As far as what I left behind, obviously lots of material possessions, my clothes, my French press that I used every morning, my solar panel, the $100 worth of food that I had bought when I was anticipating a long shelter in place. But of course, none of those things matter as much as the connections and the potential that's left unrealized. I had been in Panama for about 13 months, so I was going into my second year of service, and this was supposed to be the year where everything really clicked, where now I know how things work in the community, people know me, and they're more comfortable with me, and we could really work together to achieve our goals. The new school year had just begun a few weeks before we were evacuated. And before school got canceled, I had just set up a bunch of meetings with the guidance counselor, with the Padres de Familia, which is kind of like the PTA. I just got a new counterpart who was super excited to work with me and who wanted to do a bunch of extracurricular opportunities, which did not exist in my community. So it was really exciting. And then the day things got canceled was just a few days before we got evacuated. I worked as a special education teacher in New York City before joining the Peace Corps, and I realized that special ed is a big need in Panama. And so I had even thought about extending for a third year and trying to help schools help schools come up with a way that they can support all of their students, especially students who need a little extra help, whether they have a diagnosed disability or not. But obviously now all of that is on hold, potentially forever. I'm still in contact with a lot of people from my site, and once school starts up again, I will definitely be sending them some resources and trying to be of use however I can be. But of course, that's tough when there's no electricity and no cell signal in the community. One thing that really weighs on me about my evacuation is the people that I didn't get to say goodbye to. There's one family who I got really close to who were kind of outsiders themselves in the community, which is probably why we ended up spending so much time together. But the husband was studying English at a nearby university extension, and he needed a lot of help. The program only met on weekends, and there wasn't really any way to get extra help outside of class hours. This man had actually dropped out of high school as a teenager and had gotten his diploma through the night school in our community and was now studying English with the hope of one day being an English teacher. So we used to work for hours in his home made of zinc panels held up by tree branches with a dirt floor. His daughter would hold up the flashlight over our work while he would write essays in English. Um, and the whole family would gather around us, even though none of them spoke English. They would just listen to us. I would often end up eating dinner with them, and their daughter would braid my hair, which I loved, and watch random videos on my phone. Um, and the wife of the family even made me a nagua, which is the traditional dress that the women wear in my community. Um, so they were the first people to really to welcome me into their homes and make me feel like I was doing something worthwhile and like I had a purpose in this community. And I'm so grateful for that and for their continued friendship. On the day that I left my site, I ran to their house with a bag of food and random things from my house to give to them, and they were at work, both the parents. So I ended up leaving the bag with the daughters, but I never got to say goodbye. And I'm still hoping to go back to Panama one way or another, mostly because I feel very indebted to the whole country, and I really want to pay that back. I got to spend 13 months having an amazing experience and traveling throughout the whole country, and this was supposed to be really like the year that I paid that back, that I accomplished my professional goals, and that we worked together to really meet the goals that we had set out to meet. And I can only hope that we have the opportunity to do that moving forward. Overall, I'm just so grateful to the people of my community and Panama as a whole for welcoming all of us in. And I hope and pray that they're staying safe and that they know that all of the volunteers that they know, we're all grieving what we lost and missing them so much. A lot of us are hoping to come back one day and we can sit on your porches and listen to La Patrona and drink the finca grown coffee and watch the sunset and continue to work hombro a hombro or shoulder to shoulder. But until that day, we'll be here thinking of you and trying to move forward. So, que Dios les bendiga y que le vaya bien.